I got a hold of Eric Bischoff's phone number, his home phone number. I called him. He said to come to the WCW office and we talk. Boom. I go down to the office. He's nowhere to be found. Just before I left, Larry Zbyszko was working in the office. My wife was there. She saw. It was like a whole conspiracy thing was setting up. It was weird. It was something like out of James Bond. Larry Zbyszko comes down the. This is at the Omni International Hotel in Atlanta. Like everybody knows and waiting for me to come in there. Larry Zbyszko comes down the elevator. My wife sees him with black dark sunglasses and like walks out because he's associated with me, and they probably kicked him out saying, here, David's going to be here at 3 o'clock. You've got to get out of here. They were waiting for me. Now here I'm thinking I'm going to talk to Eric Bischoff about, They had J.J. Dillon, who came across to me. First of all, my dad gave him his start in the business too, and this is one of the biggest creeps, one of the biggest assholes I've ever seen in my life. He came in there and tried to lawyer me. Let me know, tried to give me an education about professional wrestling that he don't even know. Just treated me like a total mark. And said, hey, we'll give you a tryout. So in other words, what I had done in wrestling up to that time didn't mean anything. They still, wasn't good enough. They were going to give me a tryout. And I said, well, okay. I guess they're just treating me like a green guy all over again, and I haven't paid enough dues or whatever. I don't know. Or they're, But anyway, Paul Orndorff was in the office, and he was like sticking up for me a little bit. I always had respect for Orndorff, and he liked me. And he was in the office, and even he was looking at Dylan like, what are you doing? He saw he was being an ass too. Anyway, I went to Gainesville. They booked me with some guy. They put me over. We had a pretty decent match. I mean, it wasn't a great match, but it was okay. Hey, and remember too, like a lot of these times, I had been off for months. I'm rusty as hell, But it ended up being a pretty good match. So then, we'll call you, David. We'll let you know. So it was at Christmas time, I think, 1994, 95, right in there. And he says, hey, David, J.J. Dillon calls me up, and he's working me. Hey, I'll tell you what. Doesn't ask me, he just tells me. How about you show up into Pensacola? We'll pay you $300. You put Malenko over on TV. I says, oh, okay. First of all, $300 was a joke for a payoff back then, and to come in there and to put over Dean Malenko on TV, that wasn't a good idea either. But I'm thinking, I still got that old mentality thinking, well, because of my stubborn background, they want to see if I'm going to say, no, I'm not going to put him over. So I agreed to do the job. So in other words, to let them know, hey, I'm here for you, I'm going to do business.
These matches were on Nitro.
Nitro, yeah. It was a lousy match. Everything we talked over, Malenko didn't want to do. It was one of the worst matches I ever. And there's a guy who can work, and I should have had a decent match with, even though how rusty I was, But he wasn't professional. He wasn't professional. To be honest, he wasn't professional enough to do that. He was. I guess he was intimidated, and he didn't want to work hard that night. But that was why. To me, the match stunk. But it was his fault. I blame him. So anyway, after that match on TV, somehow Eric Bischoff seemed impressed with me. Oh, if you ever look back to those tapes, you know what they did? The commentating was done by Larry Zbyszko, and I believe it was
Tony Schiavone.
During my match, it's like all set up. During my match, before my match started, they told Zbyszko and Schiavone to leave, and in his place came Ted DiBiase, and who was the other guy? Bischoff, I think. And they put me over great, but they didn't want. I guess they were afraid they were going to say something or whatever. It was just bizarre. Anyway, after the match, Eric Bischoff comes up to me. We're going to sign you up. I was so happy. He said he was going to sign me up. And here I was working on a loading dock, busting my ass for minimum wage just about. And he said, we're going to sign you up. Call me at the office and we'll get together, or after the holidays or whatever. And this was at Christmas time, and we'll work it out. And they avoided me. J.J. Dillon kept telling me. I call to make the appointment. David, just relax, enjoy the holidays. Don't worry, we're going to take care of you. Exact words. J.J. Dillon to David Sammartino. Enjoy the holidays. Everything's going to work out. We're going to take care of you. Okay, JJ, boom, boom. I keep calling back. JJ Dillon would keep giving me the runaround. It was all BS. But he would tell me that unless something happened else that I don't know about. Maybe my dad had something to do with that too. You don't know, but then you start to not trust your instincts. Well, maybe my dad had something to do with that too. I don't know. Maybe he helped pull the plug on that deal too, because that would have rejuvenated my wrestling career, and boy, I'd be sure sitting a whole lot prettier today.